Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. I want to talk tonight about mentoring. And the point of the speech is there are very, very effective ways to get where we're going in life if we open ourselves to people who can give us a hand up and will help shorten that journey for us. I'm going to give you 3 examples from my personal life that I know. I'm a living testament to the fact that mentors helped. When I was in high school in Pasadena, I got drafted into the Army during the Vietnam-Era conflict. Not long after that, I found myself very close to the shores of Vietnam. My task was to work in a small group, about 30 guys, to clear mines from the coast of Vietnam. Looking back, I asked myself, gee, I was in the service with a bunch of guys, 18 to 20, none of us really knew much about life or what we were doing. Was I about to turn to those guys to teach me how to get through that conflict? No. I became very close friends with a person who was a chief who had been doing this minesweeping operation for many years and probably could have been considered a brown nose. I wasn't too interested in fraternizing. I wasn't all about being very social. I was about being effective in my job and getting back home. The second example was shortly after that, I started a family, married, started a family, and became an employee in a large company in the Southland called Van Camp's Baked Products. As a union member, I was one of many, many union members who basically are treated as one, all of the same. We're in a homogenous group. I became very close friends with a person whose wedding I attended not long after, who was a supervisor in the company. He was a supervisor in a position where he really needed to run interference for the company. It was owned by a guy named John Van Camp, who many of you may know became a famous California politician. Had to run interference between the company and the union represented by union stewards and other union officials. So I became a foreman, which is about, well, it is the highest position you can get in a union. And I learned the inner workings of how the company worked, how the union worked, what you could and couldn't get done with. Then finally I went back to school and joined a group in Walnut, California that was doing state-of-the-art electronic design. Again, I didn't really think too highly of going to the guys that had gone through school to find out how to do things because they're about as dumb as I was. We didn't really know much. We knew what the books told us, but we didn't have any life experience. What I found was there are very few people who are so excellent in what they do. They have the ability to help people who are new to the field or who are what I call laymen understand what they're doing. So it was not too long after that that I befriended the engineering manager. We became friends. I spent many, many evenings, my wife will tell you, evenings often ran into the next day and sometimes a full weekend just sitting around having coffee and basically me listening while he would teach physics and electronics and some other maths and sciences. He's a very, very interesting man to me. He actually is in the top 5 of my mentors. Why? Because he gave me the time to share what he knew, and I gave him the time to listen. My point isn't that mentors make us anything. My point is that mentors can shorten the trip where we're going. So once you find a great mentor, the task, I think, is to learn what you need from that person so that you can go excel. I think that we find history is full of people who learned what they could through apprenticeships or on-the-job training or what you want to call it, and then really excel, to their mentors' surprise often. Many of the people that we see getting Earth or world-changing awards get them because they learned from people who were excellent, and they capitalized that and became excellent themselves. So when I joined Toastmasters, by the way, are you timing this, Shanna? Where am I at?
4:37.
Well, let's see, I can dance.
It's all on camera.
It's going on
I'm
YouTube,
going to
right?
open it up then for discussion. I'll get credit for this, which is what I was after. I really hope you get the point that if you take the time to find somebody who's excellent in the field that you want to excel in, and act like a sponge for a while and learn everything you can from them, you can use that to catapult to your own excellence. And I know from being a parent and being a grandparent and being a teacher that one of the things people love most in life is being able to say, listen, this is what I did that got me here. I hope you can use this to your advantage, but please excel from wherever you are. Take that and go and excel. So, Kissy, any life's mentors come to mind when you think of mentors?
Most of my mentors are dead.
Dead.
In other words, if you read through books who you connect with, you decide what it is that you want to do and figure out who has gone before you and some of the pitfalls, especially in the field of investments,
Right.
where you can get killed. You want to know what they avoided so that
Right.
you don't repeat the same mistakes.
Right.
So,
Kissy, you, compared to me, relatively young, you're under 30. And so your mentors, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, just trying to understand. Your mentors are not real people that you knew, but they're people you studied?
some of them are alive, but I don't have any close relationship with
Right.
them. Like Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett.
Right. Well, to most of us, Warren Buffett is a figure we see on TV or on tapes or in a book. Not many of us actually get the opportunity to go meet the guy and get to know him. So, and I think that for many of us, that's where our mentors are. If you talk to most kids, their mentors are characters on the screen or on the ball field. They're really not people they know often. So, Saeed, mentors, living or dead?
Actually, I have a rather different perspective on mentoring in the sense that people, right now, people around in this room are my mentors. I've always felt that where I was raised, and maybe that has something to do with it, that no matter whom you come into contact with, you will always learn something if you're keen enough. And that has really driven my life. I mean, I have hardly met anybody that I have not been able to learn something from. I think my parents once said it best, that you can always learn something from everyone. Ignore the bad, but take the good and absorb it. But don't make it completely yours, build it into your style. So, yes, of course, I do have mentors like Jack Welch. I've read a lot of information, but I've never had the privilege of meeting him. I would love to meet him. But that mentoring is very abstract. I like mentors who are tangible. I have mentors in Toastmasters that I interface with considerably. For instance, Dolores has been a mentor, not an official mentor in the sense that I reached out to her, but over the years I have discussed a lot of issues with her as I have moved along in Toastmasters. And she has listened. You brought a very important subject.
I brought it up, I don't want to cut you off, so maybe we can take this offline. It is an important subject to me. If I wasn't out of time, I'd like to spend more time investigating it. But I do want to ask you to consider the idea of finding mentors who will help you get to that point where basically you know nearly what they know, and you can capitalize that and go out and be really great at whatever it is you're trying to do.